The New York Giants have been stuck in the same point now, it feels like, for a few seasons. We've seen the Daniel Jones experiment where yes, they did make the playoffs and they had Saquon Barkley leading that offense. We saw last year Saquon Barkley's departure and what that meant for the New York Giants, and ultimately it was a media circus with how that looked on the New York Giants side of things. They decided to keep Brian Dable and Joe Schoen, but decided to let go of Daniel Jones and head to a new direction at the quarterback position. They started by adding veterans in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to potentially hold down the fort. But this NFL draft class was the most important draft class for the New York Giants in quite some time. And to be honest, I think they crushed it. They went out and got the best potential defensive player in the draft in Abdul Carter at linebacker, Jaxson Dart, trading back into the first round and getting him there as potentially the QB of the future if they believe so. They got him where they needed him. They didn't overreach and they didn't overtrade picks for him, which is great to see for their future. They wound up getting a sneaky defensive tackle in Darius Alexander in the third round, then getting Cam Skattebo in the fourth. Then you get Marcus Mambo in the fifth, and then you go out and get a tight end in Thomas Fidone, who, is a position of need for them and could be sneaky. All of these guys were extreme positions of need for this team, and you get probably the best defensive player in the draft in Abdul Carter. You get a young upside quarterback in Jaxson Dart. You get Darius Alexander, who can provide another defensive tackle. And you get some other pieces that mix in really well in this team. So let's break down these picks and show you guys why the New York Giants crushed this draft. As far as the first player that got drafted, we all know how great Abdul Carter is coming out of Penn State. I had Carter ranked as my overall first on my big board, but overall as a team at Blitz Sports Media, he was our second player behind Travis Hunter. I truly think he is the best defensive player in this draft. He's a rare combination at the edge position. One of our NFL analysts, Brady Penn, wrote explosive edge rusher who was an off-the-ball linebacker until 2024, has tons of room to still learn and grow while possessing very raw tools while coming off of the edge. And he had really good production in the Big Ten as well, which was great to see. Carter is a guy that can win with size, speed, and strength, and the athleticism's clear. I mean, even Penn State would line this guy up over a guard at times, and he would still win despite being a little bit smaller at 6'3", 251 pounds. He's a pretty big player, and TJ Wancop is really true. This guy's an elite edge rusher that still has room to grow, and him being paired with good edge rushers like Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, provides him high upside to not necessarily receive double teams right out of the gate of his NFL career, allowing him to develop. Also had the accolades of being the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year while being a first-team All-American. Carter is truly a hit for this Giants team, and he's going to slot in perfectly on potentially one of the best pass-rushing defensive lines in football. Now let's get into the good of Jaxson Dart right here. Dart is a player who, when he's confident, he can hit plays over the intermediate and deeper parts of the field at will. At this point, gets a clean pocket on this play, is able to hit his receiver in stride. In the NFL, a play like this, a guy could be running 4 days and score himself a nice touchdown here. Let's take a look at kind of Dart's mechanics and why this is such a special play from him right here. As you guys are going to see, clean pocket at this point right here. Right, Dart's going to evaluate the defense at this point. He knows that his guy has at least a yard of space here. And one of the things that you will see with a lot of college prospects is, depending on the guy, they'll either have a little bit of inaccuracy problems or the arm strength problems that they're not going to be able to make this throw to a deep post route here. And Dart, no problem for him, throws it right in stride for his receiver to continue running. And like I said, you pair him with a fast, speedy receiver. Who knows, maybe even in Pittsburgh with a guy like DK Metcalf. We have seen DK Metcalf take a perfectly in stride post route to the house. And that's one of the things I really like about Jaxson Dart as a prospect, is he has very good touch on these intermediate and deep posts and in routes to where these guys can keep on going and running, providing that big playability in an offense. Here's a play where Dart just uses his elite improvisation ability, working outside the pocket, making an unbelievable throw right there to his receiver. Let's play this back real quick for you guys. Dart, pocket collapses, right? A lot of quarterbacks don't get out of this type of situation. He's evading it to his right. 3 defenders crashing down. Dart somehow finds a way. And I mean, he even thinks about running it at this point, and he's throwing himself a prayer. But that prayer is a beautiful ball over the defender's head. Perfect wheel route type throw. And that's a big chunk play for Jaxson Dart, just because he's able to use his tools that nobody else really has. And that's that improvisation ability. Let's look at Dak in full speed again. Avoids those 3 defenders, throws the ball on the run. Absolutely perfectly placed. I don't know why the clip just cut out there. But that is an absolute dime from our boy Jaxson Dart. And that's what makes him special, is he pairs that elite middle to deep part of the field accuracy on a consistent basis, putting it where his receiver needs, and then also making plays outside of the pocket just like he did here. The next guy they drafted, Darius Alexander, an interior presence on the defensive line. Alexander is going to be lined up over the left guard here and is going to blow up a play in the backfield. He's an older player, yes, but he does have the physicals and the strengths to really go through and impact a defensive line right away. So you're going to take a look again as we play this play through real quick. Alexander is going to be able to make an impact next to Dexter Lawrence for the New York Giants, providing them a solid 4-3 look and forming one of the stronger defensive lines in the league. Alexander brings solid size, speed, and strength to the position that allow him to be a very good run defender and has upside in the pass rushing game as well. So he's going to be a solid impact player for the team on the defensive line as well, alongside Dexter Lawrence. And then the guy they added at running back, Skattebo, is an absolute baller in the backfield. He's not necessarily the guy that's going to burn you with speed, but he has really good vision in the backfield and is able to make splash plays while also being a good receiver out of the backfield. I think a tandem between him and Tyrone Tracy Jr. could be really good in New York, and I think they got a value on him in the 4th round. So let's take a look at this play right here. We'll play it through, then take a look at the backfield. Skattebo breaks a ton of tackles, good vision on the cutback, and is able to work through and result in a touchdown on this play. Let's look through behind. On this play, we are going to get a man type look with a cross split lead from the tight end position. Skattebo is going to want to hit through this gap, and he does. He finds a hole right here between his right tackle, and is able to hit that. If he makes number 3 miss, he's going to have a nice gain there. He does make him miss, gets to the 2nd level, makes another player miss, makes a 3rd player miss, and then he's to the house here, and it kind of showcases his abilities to work through with his vision and then use his strength to break tackles just like he did on that play. This is one of the rare cases where I'll show a bad play, but a really good tape for Marcus Mambo here. Just absolutely mauls him. He's that right tackle over there. He's going to blow up his guy and then work to the 2nd level and blow up that 2nd guy. And this is what he is as a player. He's a really hard down the field blocker where he has a lot of physicality and power to his run blocking scheme. He can work really well in that Brian Dable running offense. As you can see, he completely washes down this defensive tackle, and with an NFL pulling lineman, they clear this hole, and this is a big time gain. But since it's not an NFL line, it's not necessarily there. And you can see he's already worked up to the 2nd level getting the linebacker. That's exactly what you want to see from your tackle in a down the field blocking, be able to work, completely wash down the nose guard, and then take a look at the linebacker and move him out of where the run is supposed to hit. His strengths are as a run blocker. He does need to develop as a pass blocker, but the run blocking talent is there for him to potentially slot in as a right tackle option long term for this team. There is a highlight of all the first few picks for the New York Giants this season. Now, heading into next year, it's not necessarily going to be a sure thing these rookies make this team a competitive team or a playoff team. I just think these fits are ideally what the New York Giants want to see. They form one of the best fronts I've seen in the NFL in quite some time. They have 3 elite pass rushers between Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns. Then you add 2 interior presences with Darius Alexander and Dexter Lawrence. That's a very good unit right there that no team wants to see. They understood how the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and it was in the trenches. They are learning from somebody in their division, and that's great. Now, at the running back position, you had a guy like Skattebo with Tyrone Tracy, who both complement each other really well. Skattebo can be that guy that is more of that bruiser type back, has really good vision in the backfield, while Tracy can be that explosive playmaker out of the backfield. And I truly think these guys will be closer to a 50-50 split compared to what people saw. And they also still have Devin Singletary on this roster as well to mix in there and showed some flashes over the past few seasons. And then the big pick that we all want to talk about is Jaxson Dart at the quarterback position. Dart is a high upside player. He's a really good improviser, provides a lot of tools at the quarterback position that you can't teach very well. He does struggle processing the field, and I think sitting behind 2 veterans like Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson could really be a great thing for his development. I think this has bought Brian Dable some time as well at the head coaching position. And this roster, if they have a good free agent class next year and another good draft, it could look like a really solid competitor long term. And this is how you do it in New York. You get the quarterback while getting an elite player on defense in the same draft. That's always a great recipe for success. So I'm extremely impressed with the New York Giants draft class this season. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. Did the Giants crush this draft, or would this be a massive failure that just looked good on paper? Let me know down below. If you're interested in more Blitz Sports Media content, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.